what's up, you guys? So we got binging with Samjung today.
Are we just ripping off binging with Babish, and why are we called Samjung?
Oh, we're calling Samjung because, it's Sam and Kevin Jung. And we're binging.
Oh my god.
Anyways, thank you for coming here today. And then I'm really excited for what we have in plan, all right? So I know we were doing a series on breaking bread, specifically with the church, and what it looks like to be a community. What does it mean to give to each other? And I'm excited because today we're going to do a new video, and it's going to be on baos.
Oh, snap.
Yep.
Okay.
So, baos, there's a lot of ways to make it. This one I have in front of us is a premix. What you can do is get your normal flour, of course.
Okay.
And then get your sugar.
Interesting.
Yep. And then lastly, you just need milk.
All right.
Yep. So what we're going to do is just essentially put it all together with this premix. Kevin, you're going to help me, all right?
Yeah, for sure.
Cool. So very simple. All you need to do is pour it in there, and then we're just going to pour the rest of the ingredients in it. So very simple. And as we're doing it, I'll tell you about the inspiration and kind of the biblical concept that we're to draw from here.
Okay,
cool.
Yeah. What was your inspiration?
All right. Well, my inspiration really comes from Bao, the short film. Have you seen it?
Okay.
Yeah.
No, I have not.
Really
What's it about?
amazing. Let me get you a scissor really quickly. All right, there you go.
That was not a scissor, but okay.
Oh, it was. I'm sorry. I got you a knife. Here, anyways, go ahead and just pour it in.
Okay,
and
cool.
As you're pouring in, I'll tell you a little more about inspiration. So,
Yeah.
Bao, really amazing. It starts off with this guy who wakes up in the morning. He meets this Bao, and as he looks at it, the Bao comes alive.
So it has eyes and can talk?
Yeah, it can talk. Spoilers, he ends up eating it.
That is horrifying. Okay, cool. Interesting.
Okay, not the point, but go ahead and just pour this little milk in here as well as you're doing that.
How much do we need? Is that 1 cup?
About 1 cup.
That's not 1 cup.
Let me just maybe drizzle a little bit more in. There we go.
There you go.
That's perfect.
Exactly.
Go ahead and drizzle.
All right.
And so essentially why I picked Bao is because we needed a bread that I wanted to inspire from. And then 2 is it focuses a lot on the idea of family. Not eating your family, but what it means to really to give and to sacrifice for family.
So it's about the son being worried about eating the bao.
No,
but that's a symbol of the father's relationship with the son.
Put the sugar in, Kevin. Put the sugar in.
All right, interesting. You know what? We do lots of different types of bread here. Bao, inspiration, sure, let's do it.
Yep. So what we're gonna do next is just get your hands in and just mix it around here. Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah, sounds good.
Pretty easy. You'll be making your own bao and you'll be eating your own in a second.
All right, my son.
Yep.
I'll eat my son.
But anyways, just kind of the history of bao a little bit. Not only was it from a short film, but just inspiration from culture as well. If you never had a bao before, it's just bread usually, and then it may or may not have a filling on the inside. And so culturally, I liked it because it wasn't pretentious. It was something very simple, and it's eaten both by could be a very high-end restaurant, or it could be a very simple mom and pop shop stall. So.
And this is different from a dumpling?
Yeah, it's definitely different from a dumpling. This is more of like a doughy texture, whereas a dumpling is more of a thin
Gotcha.
skin.
Yeah, I feel it. It's definitely doughy.
But so I just thought that this would be really relevant to us, especially since the focus I really want us with our lesson today is what does it mean to, as a community, as a church, to give to other people.
Yeah.
And so as you're mixing, it's funny because then Jesus had his own bread that he gave to people too, but kind of bringing it back too is like, what does it mean for us to give back to our community? But yeah, so as we're making this, like the idea is like, how do we give back to our community? TLC, we always have a thing that says, you don't have resources, then give your time. You don't have time, give your resources. And so there's 3 principles I would say that we can see biblically, what Jesus did, and ultimately what we can take from it. So yeah, go ahead and just keep mixing this. If it looks a little wet, add a little bit more flour, as you see here. Give the surface a little bit of...
Add a little bit of flour on the ground, on the table.
On the ground. On the table.
Okay.
Just go ahead and mix. It's a little dirty at first, but you'll get the right consistency from it.
Nice.
All right. So after you do this, have the dough and then do not touch it, please. Give it about 15 minutes, and after 15 minutes later, what we're gonna do is cut up our meat in the meantime.
All right. Yeah, sounds good. So you were probably reading. I think you're telling me about a book you were reading that influenced you in this?
Yeah, I was reading Gentle and Lowly.
That's a good book.
It was a good book. Shout out, links to it in the description. Just kidding, we're not sponsored. Anyways, but yeah, I was reading it, and then we were going through chapter 2, and we really saw Jesus present this scenario in 3 different ways. First and foremost is that you have different scenarios, like the person with the leopard. You have the person that was he paralyzed?
Yeah, the paralytic.
And then lastly, you have different scenarios like Lazarus dying, or even just feeding of the 5,000. And so in all these different scenarios, there's always 3 things that we always notice. First and foremost is Jesus observed a need. And so he noticed that with the paralytic, there's the faithfulness of his friends, and obviously the paralytic person. There's the leopard who calls out to him. There is the death of his friend. And so first thing is, what does Jesus see? What does he observe? What is something that he takes in? Second, what do you think it is?
He goes ahead in proximity with the people, and he meets them at their need.
Yeah, exactly. So he observes, and I like how you said it. It meets them at their need, which is, there is an internal, like to meet them at his need is being there, not only physically but also emotionally too. And so oftentimes you'll see is his heart breaks for them. And so the next point is for us is to have a heart that breaks for them. And as we're talking about this, I'm sorry,
Nice.
Just drop a little chashu inside your baos. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna start folding it too. And then just go ahead and let me just add a little bit more into it. Yeah. So anyways, as we're doing this, and we're gonna wrap it in a second, just realize that, the third point I would say is, first is see the need. Second is have the heart that breaks for it. And lastly is ultimately to go and do something about it. Yeah, because really, you can't have the first 2 and, call it a day. It's really about the third point too. It's actually doing something about it.
Yeah, no, I was reading a book recently, and the author pointed out how if something really breaks our hearts, then we have to do something about it. We can't just hire a professional to do it. Yeah. That's like if I wanted to ask Casey out for a date, and I thought that a professional could do it better, I wouldn't hire a professional and being like, hey, Kate, can you take Casey out for a date? And I'll just stay home and I'll watch the house. And when you come back, we'll all be good. Now, even though someone else can do it better than me, I want to do it because it means a lot to me.
Yeah, definitely. I agree. And part of it is just taking ownership of our own faith too. If that's a really big difference between, what God calls us to do as disciples is really to go out and do these things. And so, I mean, ultimately, I would say that, as you're, for you community, as you're thinking about these things, take note, what is it that you observe within a need, whether it's in your closest circle, within your church, or even within your community. Take note of it, and then ask yourself, do you have a heart for it? And then lastly is do something about it. So that's my encouragement to you. But so the last thing I would say, is just kind of play with this, is so we're just gonna wrap up, pun unintended, we'll wrap things up with some of these few ones, and then we're just gonna go ahead and put these all together, and you'll see what the final product looks like. Cool. So you have all of the finished products now, and what we're gonna do is go ahead and cook them. Nice. Yep. So first thing is just go ahead and make sure you have some heated water. The best way to make these are actually steamed. So these are steamed baos.
Gotcha. Yeah. That makes sense. That's why we're using this.
Exactly. And So go ahead and put the steamers on top, and then see our cute little baos. We're just gonna make sure they're setting perfectly inside.
So you mentioned how you did this when you were younger, right, Sam?
I did. I made a VIT project way back then. Guess how many views there was on there?
200?
Oh, 50,000.
So who would you say did it better, younger Sam or older Sam?
Oh, definitely younger Sam.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So we're just gonna close this up?
Yep. And so here's the final review. This looks amazing.
I mean, one of them looks kind of broken and mutilated, but that's cool.
I think that is the best representation of the story.
Oh, you're right. Relationship between father and son.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So did the Bao represent the son?
Well, it doesn't matter.
We gotta cut him up.
Yep, gotta cut up. Anyways, boom! Look at that.
All right, that's the cross section.
This is this is the part where the father eats the son.
Nice inspiration. Good biblical application. Interesting inspiration.
Yum.
That's pretty good.
Yeah. Well, anyways, that's our baos today, and hopefully that's a lesson that we can also take from it, which is, if you see a need, do you have a heart for it? And lastly, what do you want to do about it? And, the next time you see someone, maybe not necessarily a bao, but give them something that, really shows your love towards them. So, Kevin, do you know what time it is?
What time is it, Sam?
It's time for B-roll.
Like what you see? Come check us out on our YouTube channel. We're called to love God, love people, and serve the world. We post regularly every week, Wednesdays and Sundays. 10 a.m. Children's Ministry, 12:30 p.m. for English Ministry. Check out our website at www.wearetruelove.com. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button.